We've been talking about the 6 things ERISA disability policyholders need to know about picking the right date to claim that they became disabled. So let's finish it up. Did you know that you can destroy your ERISA disability insurance claim by making that one simple mistake of picking the wrong date to claim that you've become disabled? And that's a fatal mistake. As I said, it's easy to pick out a date of disability if you've been involved in an accident, but the more difficult cases are when you have a medical condition that is progressive in nature and you're trying to stick it out, you don't want to stop, or you can't afford to stop working. If you're in that situation, there are 3 more things that you need to know about picking the right date to claim that you've become disabled. Now, in the first video, we talked a lot about the policy, but now let's talk about your medical records. You need to know what your medical records say, and I think you've got to work backwards. By that I mean you need to read your records and figure out what your doctor says and whether your doctor supports your claim. More importantly, do your records document those things? And if they don't, you need to start going to your doctor and complaining of the symptoms that are impacting your ability to do your occupation, and to explain to the doctor what it is you're having trouble doing. So if you have, for example, fibromyalgia, you may have problems with fatigue and concentration. If you have a back problem, you may have difficulty sitting or standing. You may have to get up and move around. Now, one of the other issues that you need to know is whether you're possibly going to be terminated, or you get that sense, or there's going to be a reduction in force. You have got to make sure that you're back in that doctor's office explaining all the problems that you're having, and if necessary, have the doctor take you out of work before you think you're going to be fired or before a layoff. The reason that's important is if you stick it out and you get laid off, you weren't disabled, you didn't lose wages, and so your claim is going to be destroyed. So a part of this consideration is in the terms of the policy, what it says about part-time work. Can you do part-time work and still be eligible for your benefits? In other words, you may go to your employer and ask to reduce your hours, but you have to not only reduce hours, but lose a certain amount of wages so that you might be entitled to what's called residual disability benefits. And it generally has to be for a certain period of time. So if you attempt to go back to work, you may blow that particular period of time. Now, if the policy says you have to be totally disabled, then you know what you got to do. And though I think you have to make sure that your records show this ongoing problem and that you just don't stop working on one day when you worked the day before, because the carrier is going to say, what changed? You worked the day before, why are you disabled today? So it takes a lot of planning when you're looking at your medical records and your policy to help pick out the right date of disability. As a practical matter, you may also want to apply for FMLA before you are terminated or when you decide to stop working, just as a protection. I think that shows the carrier that you have some intent in trying to go back to work, and I think even if you have no intent of going back to work, it does sort of show good faith, if you will, on your part. One of the other things that you need to consider in terms of these reduced hours and picking the right date of disability is when you are potentially going to lose your health insurance coverage or other benefits. And that may really require a thorough analysis of your entire benefit package, including your group health. And that's another reason why I think that as people, particularly professionals, are trying to pick the right date of disability, there are a lot of moving parts that you need to be thinking about. Not just because you think that you're disabled and you can't work as of this date, or you are trying to last for as long as you can. When you try to do that, you're losing sight of all the other things that can happen as you become disabled and potentially either get terminated or lose your benefits for other reasons. So to me, this is just not a simple what's the date of disability. It's do you lose coverage based on reduced hours, or when you stop working, or when you're terminated. I think I've given you 6 good reasons for you to consult with an experienced ERISA disability attorney. Call me today at 727-894-3188 for a complimentary consultation. I look forward to helping you pick the right date to become disabled.